What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. And what a wild and crazy day we had. It looks like the Bulls just came out full force today. We did get some info, essentially what everybody's been saying, even when the new variant came out, that it wasn't as bad as a lot of headlines were making it out to be. I believe Fauci even came out and talked about this, and then all of a sudden today, there was a particular laboratory, I believe, in the UK that says that their new essential vaccine could essentially protect against any new variant out there. I don't know if that was also part of it. There was also talks that the debt ceiling has been agreed upon. There's been a lot of really positive information today, which is fantastic. And that's why we saw the massive rip today. Mainly in Big Fang, there was a lot of good strength and value and in banks today. But they did pull back a little bit. There was some more, I think, concern towards the end of the day with the variants again. I don't remember what exactly it was, but it did cause a lot of travel stocks to pull back. So this is what I'm talking about. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and when you're a trader, you gotta kind of have to cipher and understand. You have to play both ways. You have to understand what's the bull case and what's the bear case, and then that's why I used to like to use fundamentals and technicals, because you need to know of events, and then you need to know at what technical level are we at, because sometimes technicals play out, sometimes they do not. It all depends on your conviction, and that's what I'm about, is your conviction. What do you feel is your conviction? What is your bull case and what is your bear case? Because you need to have both, and understand what events might outweigh the other one. And being said, we are very strong right now. There was a lot of positivity in the markets. Some people are even talking about Powell possibly coming in and saying that become really dovish and try to say, well, they can't taper now. I believe there was a rumor on that today, and that might be also contribute to why the market just ripped out of nowhere. We all know next week we have the FOMC meeting. That will be a critical meeting because whatever is stated, specifically time frame on rate raises, is what is going to dictate what's going to happen to this market. Even though it's very bullish right now, you have to understand that volatility could be introduced and we could correct very quickly, and we've seen that in the past couple of days. So you have to be agile in this market, and you can always just be patient and wait till we figure out what Powell is planning on doing. The Fed this week is essentially locked and stowed away as they gather their thoughts for next week. But we'll start hearing from Fed members this weekend and in next week going into the Fed meeting. So we have to be very agile in this. I think as of right now, I can play strongly to the upside, intraday, possibly even swing, but just be mindful. A lot of different things are hitting support. SPY looks great. It's broken back above the 20. I'm actually kind of looking for this to come back and retest. I was hoping this would happen today, but we just went straight up. And that's my only concern, is that it's gone straight up. No pullback. We did 2 days of this. There's going to be some kind of pullback here. Maybe not a correction, but there's going to be a pullback. Remember, if we want to be extremely strong, we need to pull back and retest these major supports. If not, this could be a dead cat bounce, and we could drop pretty quickly and butter through these supports. That's not what we want to do. So that is something to be mindful of when you're looking at technicals, because the higher it goes, the quicker it can come down. And when this is our second day running, we could possibly get a third day. So that leads us into Wednesday, which is, I think, is a strong possibility because the way the week is setting up is Friday we have core CPI. And I think if that is bad, we could actually, I think, to be honest with you, I think what's going to happen, just my thesis going in for the rest of the week, is that on Thursday, we're going to probably get a pretty good pullback on Thursday. We might have another bullish case tomorrow. and maybe even start pulling back tomorrow. And I think we might either pull back. If we don't pull back tomorrow on Wednesday, I think that will happen on Thursday, and then we'll kind of just trade flat for most of the day till we get that core CPI data. And then from that point, there's going to be some volatility a lot on Friday, whether that is if we've already come down and started retesting these levels, and then a big push up or a big push down. I think the core CPI will help dictate kind of what's going to happen next week and give us a little bit more insight on what's going to happen. So this is all very important information. The market is essentially hanging on every piece of data, every word that comes out of Powell's mouth. That's why you have to be agile and realize that technicals do work for the most part, but when there's, again, a major event, it doesn't matter what your technicals are saying. These supports, it doesn't matter. It could blow straight through these supports and start selling off. So again, you have to be very agile and, again, manage risk and just be light. Right now is a good time to be light, I would say. So as far as Bitcoin goes, Bitcoin itself is something I talked about yesterday. I didn't like the fact on the daily here, I talked about this trend line that we broke it, and it looks like, I don't know if we broke back above it or we got rejected off of it. It looks like we got rejected. So that might be a little bit concerning. Just really depends on the market. It might just come back down here at the 47K. We really don't want it below the 46. I don't really think Bitcoin is going to fall that low. As long as it holds that 46K level, the 200 moving average on the daily is normally a good sign for reversal. I've talked about this before. As long as it holds above here, we're good, especially because we want a higher low. And we went straight up over here. So there should be no reason for panic on this side, technically, because we went straight up with no pullbacks. Again, what I've talked about, we need to have pullbacks and retesting as we go up, because if we go straight up, you're going to have these massive pullbacks like this. And this massive volatility, and it's something I think we're going to see more of, especially if the uncertainty with the Fed and what's going on. Once we get a little bit more structure next year, I think what we can see is a good correction, and then like a solid move, as opposed to these parabolic moves with no pullbacks. Which isn't great for the market. Again, because it comes back and retests, it gives it more strength to keep pushing forward, as opposed to just these parabolic moves and then just slamming back down. So that's something to keep in mind. So as far as tomorrow, again, looking at FANG, I've been talking about this the whole time. When you get crazy movements and stuff like this, you want to stay with strength. So you want to stay with FANG. Tesla is kind of an in-between spot. So you're bouncing between the 50 and the 20-day EMA. So you really want it out of the spot. It's good to see it actually held the 50, so the 1K mark. But we really want it back over the 1066 mark. If it does get back over this tomorrow, I want to try to get in this, because the next stop is trying to break this trend. Once we break this trend, I think we're going to start going to all-time highs. But one thing that Tesla likes to do before going into earnings is start these big consolidations. So I wouldn't be surprised if it starts actually chopping a lot more before it starts breaking out again. Apple has just been a behemoth, good for the Christmas rally. Made another monster move after hours. So we're looking to see where we open up tomorrow. And take it from that point. Again, we can't just go parabolic without retesting. We did get a retest here. We did get a retest here. So this is what you want to see. You want to see strength on the retest and these supports on the way up. Again, you have to remember it stair steps up and then elevators down. So remember that stair steps up, so elevators down. It's a second step. We could see a third one, possibly in a fourth one. My guess is we're going to see a third one, and then again, come Thursday, we're going to correct or go flat, and then depending what data we get on Friday, could make a mess of things, or it could not. It could help us continue up, but as long as we're retesting support is what matters. ASML is another one I really like. It's hitting the trend line now on the daily. I really like chips, and I wanted this to come back down. I'm wondering if this will come back down to the 750 mark. Like I said, a lot of these are retesting the 50s and the 20s from underneath. So a lot of these on the daily look the same, which is not good. This is why I talk about a lot of, see, it looks like it's retesting. So that daily marker is really going to matter. See if it at least comes back down to the 790. If it breaks or the candle opens above this, we really want it above all this hot mess here. Essentially the 8 to 19 mark, and then that will definitely help lead us to new all-time highs. And again, higher low right here, as you can see. But we need to break out of this downward channel we're currently in. Google is another big one. Made a nice, beautiful move, break out of the wedge. I don't expect this to go straight up. I'm actually expecting this to come back down. So if I'm looking at a 28.96 entry on Google, possibly tomorrow. Again, I'm looking to see what the market does, but if my thesis is correct, we'll have that pullback on Thursday. If it holds on Friday with the CPI data, I want to try to get in this at that level. Facebook, that's a hot mess. There's so much. It's actually a lower low here, which is not good. It got rejected off the 200. But it bounced strong off the monthly support. So I want to see if this comes back down, starts consolidating around the monthly support. One to definitely keep in mind. I think that there's a lot of things going on with bad news in renaming, rebranding to Meta and everything is kind of put Facebook in this short-term tailspin here. So I'm looking for this to come back down and start consolidating for a little bit more here. Like I said, coin and everything with Bitcoin, I want to keep an eye on this. It did break, so I want this to retest. It is retesting the 200 like I was talking about. A lot of charts look like this, retesting the 200. Expect this to come back down and start consolidating a little bit, kind of leading into next week. And then I think our big parabolic move will happen after that. Again, depends what Powell says, because what Powell says can either push the market right back up to all-time highs, or it can pull it even further down. So you have to remember that. UPST is one I definitely want to watch tomorrow. We did get a wedge break here on the daily. So looking for a retest tomorrow. If we can retest the 180 tomorrow, again, you got to remember you have the 200 sitting at the 194 mark, 195 mark. Wanting over that 195. If we get break over that 195 mark, we can actually start seeing UPST start really running. I really do like UPST in a firm, especially if the big FANG stock starts selling off. I want to keep those in mind. I think a lot of strength will go into chips and into UPST in a firm. Firm's kind of the same setup. We definitely wanted to break out of this wedge on the daily, though. It did hold the 200 here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we actually sold back off to the 200, which is the 104 mark, and start consolidating here before a break. But definitely keep a firm on watch. Moderna, I played this today a little bit. It's holding the 200, so I want to watch this. If it holds around that 271 again, I want to build another position in this. Just because of all the variant news, Moderna, I think, can pop back up again. It is at a higher low right now, which is good to see. So I think right now is a good reversal spot. Just as long as it doesn't break below that 271 mark, I think you're pretty solid there. And then, yeah, there's other chip plays like NVIDIA I've been kind of watching. But I do like ASML better in that aspect, only because it's the manufacturing side of it. But that's pretty much what I got. This video is already kind of getting long, so just be mindful, just be cautious of what's currently going on, and I will see you guys on the field.